Aloha guys, it's Joe Tunney and I'm visiting my very good friends at BMW of Hawaii here in the beautiful city of Kona on the big island of Hawaii. And we're taking a look at an all-new sport utility, the 2019 BMW X7. Now, the X7, a fuller size sport utility, has been promised to be on BMW's showroom floor for years and years. And we're going to start by popping the hood on the X7. Now, both the X5 and X7 are both built on the same platform. It's called BMW's CLAR platform, or cluster architecture, and it allows for a platform to go from everything as small as a BMW Z4 all the way up to something as big as the BMW X7. One corporate platform that essentially is the underpinnings of every single vehicle in the product line. And then on top of that, it has their modular inline series of engines. And so this is the B58 B30 inline six-cylinder single turbo engine. This is available both in a 6-cylinder and a V8 engine. The V8 engine is the N63, what they call Hot V. And so the Hot V is called that because it is 2 banks of 4 cylinders each, with the turbos mounted right directly in between the cylinder banks. And so it pays a lot of dividends, 456 horsepower and over 470 foot-pounds of torque. In the 6-cylinder motor in the X7, it is 335 horsepower, 332 foot-pounds of torque, so virtually identical to the X5. It's a modular engine. What that means is that there are modules, and they are each 1-cylinder modules. So BMW makes a 500cc 1-cylinder engine, and they stick as many of those together as they need. That's why you see the 4-cylinder engine these days is 2 liters. The 6-cylinder engine is 3 liters. It also says twin power turbo, but it is a single turbocharger generating all that horsepower. Now, there is a third engine option, which as of right now is not coming to the United States. That is the diesel motor. And the diesel motor is interesting because it has an enormous amount of torque, but it also has 4 turbochargers. Don't know if we're going to be seeing that one in the States. Let's take a look around at the X7. So proportions wise, it looks a lot like the X5, and it should, because effectively they're the same vehicle at their core. This one is 9 inches longer, and it does have a 5-inch longer wheelbase. It does have, if you get an off-road package in this, it does have a locking differential in the back. So it is a true off-road type of all-wheel drive, especially if you live in the mountains, you go to ski resorts and things like that. It has a clutch type differential in the back. If you get the 6-cylinder motor, it has a more modern electronic system if you get the V8 model. Well, let's take a look inside. So this one is an M package, and being an M package, one thing it has is a nice thick steering wheel, and it also has Alcantara headliner that extends all the way to the back. This also has a luxury interior package, so it has ventilated seats and massage seats as well. Fabulous Harman Kardon stereo system, panoramic moonroof, this one with the LED features. Really, really nice and comfortable and posh inside. And then it has the Swarovski crystal shifter and just a real, very, very high-end personality throughout, from the dash all the way from left to right and front to back. Let's jump in back. So super spacious in the front, super spacious in the rear as well. Tons and tons of headroom. The X7, because it's just big enough inside, it is significantly bigger inside than the X5, but it just gives you a real plush feeling. It's full theater seating, so the rear seat is higher than the front seat, so you do have fabulous visibility. Also, it has a really neat suspension. So if you get the 8-cylinder, especially with the dynamic handling package, that's a feature that you're really going to be interested in. That one comes with rear wheel steering. It comes with bigger brakes. It also has active anti-roll bars, and we'll talk a little bit about why those active anti-roll bars are such such a big deal. Now wheels, even at the base level, you're looking at 22-inch alloy wheels. Because this is an M package, it's a little enhanced version if you look at the brakes and the wheels. Now, you're seeing for the first time in BMW's universe a new braking system. So if you're familiar with Continental, that's Continental, the tire company, they're not getting out of the tire business, but they are getting into the high-end brake business. And if you know a little bit about drive-by-wire is where you get rid of the steering rack, so to speak, and although you're turning the steering wheel, it's not a true steering wheel. It's almost like a video game where the input is telegraphed by way of computers, and it's actually the computers that turn the wheels for you. And so there's less wear and tear on the car and more consistent performance as the car gets older. Well, Continental, this is the MKC1 braking system, and you'll see it in electric cars, but this is the first time we're seeing it outside of that world. This is braking by wire, and it is brand new stuff. And so it takes input from the brake pedal and electronically modulates the braking system. Well, that's a big deal because cars forever have used a vacuum system with tubes and pressure and so on and so forth, and that's been the case for decades. This is a brand new advance that has benefits both in lighter weight, fewer parts, more instantaneous and immediate braking, which is a big deal on a big family hauler like this, more consistent performance as the years go on, and less unsprung rate at the point of where the wheels themselves go up and down. So a multitude of benefits with Continental's MKC1 braking system. Taking a look in back, well, they do tow. They're all set up to tow 7,500 pounds, and so either way you go on this platform, it actually is a heavy-duty hauler. And then it is push-button suspension, and so you can actually push the button right here, and it will lower the vehicle just a click so that it makes it easier to put things inside and out. You'll see a series of buttons over here as well, which modulate each of the seats up front. Now, if you're from Seattle, like we are initially, you get a little bit of ADD waiting for some of these things to go up and down. So it is a little bit of a process. As you can see, even the front seats will go forward and backward, allowing the back seats plenty of time to do what they need to do. But this process takes a little bit of a minute, and so you'll hear some people get a little frustrated with the delay. But it does fold almost completely flat, and so that is a nice benefit for the X7. The third row seats now. So the second row seats are super duper spacious. The third row seats, not as spacious. If you have little kids, you're going to be delighted. If you have full grown adults back there, they're not going to be that happy. Let's take a look inside again. So the transmission is ZF's ubiquitous 8-speed transmission, and so it is the single best transmission in the whole wide world. It's called the ZF 8HP. This one's called the ZF 8HP 70. It's the same transmission that you see in Rolls-Royce, Aston Martin, even Ram trucks, and so it is a very stout transmission. It can handle a lot of power, it can handle a lot of torque. It's very fast shifts, and it's built to last forever and ever. So it's a wonderful transmission that pretty much every single high-end manufacturer is going to these days. Now, some cool tech. So I talked about that suspension, and it is an adaptive suspension. And what is adaptive or active about it? So you have cameras all around the car. As you're driving down the road, the cameras are reading the road in real time. Well, the cameras notice a pothole, and you're about to hit it with some real force. What it will do is it will tighten the wheel that's about to make impact with that pothole so that the wheel does not descend into the pothole, therefore banging into the wall of the pothole. It will hold the wheel up as high as it can to minimize that pothole impact. It's just a far out feature. Then on top of that, the navigation unit is talking to a satellite up in space. The satellite is telling the navigation unit that you're about to make a series of left and rights. The navigation unit then tells the suspension that we're about to make a series of lefts and rights, and it will loosen and tighten the inside and outside of the suspension before you even get into those turns. So rather than wobbling back and forth through the turns, it stays flat all of the time, and it's all doing it because the navigation unit is talking to the suspension in real time. It's pretty far out stuff, and it's a pretty far out vehicle.